Welcome back to the Negotiation Society podcast. Today we have Ian Brooks, who is a graduate of Hobart College, so familiar with the cold weather in upstate New York. He works in commercial real estate in New York City, first starting out with the Bizzuto Group, where he was a sales and service associate and then an assistant property manager. He moved to Novogradac and Company, where he was a real estate research analyst, and then to Crimson Capital, where he also was an analyst. He then became an associate at Massey Knakal, an associate at Cushman Wakefield when Cushman brought in Massey Knakal, and then a senior associate, and now is the director at Cushman Wakefield. It's good to have you, Ian. Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you, Mike. Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to this.
So how'd you get to where you are today, man?
So you gave my background and where I've worked, and so my simple answer for that would be not being afraid to introduce myself to people. So the way I got to where I am today is a long path through the real estate industry, but it started with me introducing myself to Tom Bizzuto, who is the CEO and founder of the Bizzuto Group, which is a Maryland-based commercial real estate manager, developer, very well-known, very well-respected group in the Metro DC area, now all around the East Coast. Their headquarters were down the street from my house growing up. Didn't really know what it was. Got to Hobart College, as you mentioned. Found out he was a trustee. Found out when he was coming up for a meeting. Went and introduced myself. And that started me down the path in commercial real estate. Got an internship from that. Worked for them full time. And then the rest is history.
That's very cool, man. Not being afraid to introduce yourself. Clearly, real estate would seem like you succeed based on the relationships you have and having a void of fear. So you certainly have to talk to folks. What's the best thing about your role?
The best thing I'd say about commercial real estate, and I'm just for some clarity's sake, I'm an investment sales broker in the commercial real estate business. So I am selling property for owners. I'm not leasing office space. I'm not renting commercial retail space. I'm selling investment properties for owners. And so what I love about that job, or this job, is the freedom that it provides. I'm not someone who's going to do well sitting at a desk, doing the same functions every day, really formulaic like that. I love the fact that there's no real playbook here. I can be as entrepreneurial as I'd like to be and need to be to find ways to dig up new business, cultivate relationships, and then ultimately successfully sell buildings for people. More specifically, I love New York City. I don't think there's a better job in this entire city than being a broker in terms of learning the city, understanding the city, knowing your way around the city, and just like all in all appreciating it for what it is. So two of the very important parts of the job.
That's cool, man. I can only think the best job you could have, maybe not in New York, but in Washington, D.C., would be a GM for our Washington Capitals. I know you share that passion. And unfortunately, you must have to watch the Rangers. So sorry for you.
Yeah, no, that people give me a lot of crap about I'm probably a Rangers fan right now, but not at all. I'm Caps through and through. I actually was up till 12 a.m. watching a Central Time, West Coast Time Blackhawks Caps game the other night, in which I watched Ovi, the grade 8, score a hat trick and get to his 800th goal, which was amazing.
Awesome. Very, very much so. Watching history. Ian, how important is it to be client-centric within the New York real estate market?
Being client-centric is everything. Our business is our clients. I have to have clients that believe in me and trust in me to hire me to sell property in New York City. So we are a conduit to the market to sell property for our clients. We are actually specifically seller rep brokers. So owners of property hire us to go out, find buyers, market the property, and get to a successful transaction. So we have to do whatever we need to do for our clients to get the job done and to do it the way that they'd like it to be done. And building a client base is how you succeed and survive in this business. So clients are everything.
Believe it. And it sounds like you talked about belief and trust. Obviously, you need your clients to trust you, because it's not like you're selling small increments of dollars. These are big moving targets.
Right. These are things that, people have a lot of money in. And in many cases in New York, there's so many buildings that there's a real, there's emotional attachment to these buildings. They could be buildings that somebody past their grandparents purchased 85 years ago, and now they're making an emotional decision to sell this property. And so you need to make your client feel good about this, and you need to give them guidance if they're not sophisticated. But yes, everything about this is catering to our clients.
That makes sense. We talk a lot at the Gap Partnership about leaving the other party feeling satisfied. And I assume that's the same case, what you're just explaining with the people that you're representing.
Yeah.
How important is negotiation to you, Ian, in your deals?
Negotiation starts from day one. Just think about the life cycle of a deal. I get on the phone, I'm selling a client something, I'm selling something for a client, and I'm speaking to an investor, and our conversation gets to, what do you own? Is there anything you'd consider selling? So I have to then speak to that person and say, I have to negotiate on my behalf to get in front of that person. So then once I've gotten negotiated, they agree to meet with me. We've sat down. Let's say they then want to hire me. I have to negotiate my fee with the buyer. Then once, we're hired, we're out to market, then it's our job to negotiate both with buyers and our client to get to a point of agreement where both sides can be happy. And once that's sort of touching on pricing, and then we assist in the negotiations of a sales contract, and where where one side can give and take, and we're a part of that. The attorneys for the most part, but we're certainly assisting in those negotiations.
That's really interesting, man. And I'm not in real estate, so in my mind, it was just about, all right, you already have the client, and then you negotiate the sell of a building. But what you're saying is there's so much preconditioning, and the negotiation starts with your client. You got to just get in the door and have, break bread to get the deal. And then you're negotiating the fee that you're going to get. Then you're negotiating the sale of it. I mean, that's a lot more to the industry than a novice would know.
Yeah.
Do you have any success stories or failures, either work related or personal?
Well, personally, anytime I'm playing golf on a weekend, I'll chalk that up as a successful personal negotiation with my wife. In terms of work, I would say that, truly any deal that closes is a culmination of, as I just mentioned, several negotiations along the way. Nothing real specific. Right now I'm actually working on, and I don't want to jinx anything, it's not a done deal, but it's an interesting deal I'm working on right now. And over the last couple months, I've been negotiating with a developer and a user group on a potential JV development scenario. And that, we're not even halfway through the process, and it's been a lot of negotiation so far, but I've learned a lot from it. And it's been pretty fascinating and rewarding so far.
That's cool, man. And having had the opportunity once or twice to in fact play golf with you, I know that you're probably negotiating with the scorecard too, because sometimes you're taking those extra putts. But no, hey, it's
no
okay.
way.
You don't need to justify. Ian, what's the most important lesson you've learned as a negotiator?
Couple things. I'd say two main things. I'd say be prepared. Know what you're negotiating. Have the facts. And something I've worked on, 9 years into the business and to this point is remaining calm, like taking emotion out of it, keeping your cool, because it doesn't get you anywhere yelling and screaming I've found. And, that's, it's taken a few years to grow up, and, but I do think it's a valuable lesson.
Yeah, those are critical. We talk a lot about that as well internally.
And honestly, if I was a smart man, I would hire you to take me through a few classes, which I know you are the expert. And I could certainly learn a few takeaways from the Gap partnership. I know that.
I appreciate that. Your 2 points, though, are really valuable. We talk about negotiation is 90% preparation. And your number one point there was be prepared and know the facts, have the facts. Couldn't agree more. The second one is remain calm and remove the emotion, because at the end of the day, this is commercial negotiation.
I swear you didn't prep me for that one.
Yeah, no, that's true. Hey, what advice would you give to other people who have similar career aspirations?
So in this business, I'll speak to a young and up and coming individual who wants to be a commercial real estate broker. Look, it's a long-term game. As I said, I've been doing this for 9 years. I've started in a top market where I'll go back to being client-centric. I didn't have my network. I didn't have that at that time. Then a dip, then COVID. There's been political headwinds. You have to think long-term. This will compound, your relationships will compound over time, and you'll be in a position where people rely on you and come to you for selling their building for advice. That takes time. So you have to think long term. You have to have thick skin. In those years it takes to get to a comfortable position, you get a lot of no's. And I know it sounds cliche, but it couldn't be more critical to this industry. Having thick skin, and then like more specific to this role itself, if you can hit the ground running as a real estate mind and have like a pretty solid understanding of basic real estate financial fundamentals, you can start as a young person and be speaking the same language as owners and investors, and it really gives you credibility in this business. And I didn't have the best when I was a younger person. I've grown into that, but I can watch the younger people who are taking real estate classes in college now and, applying that to a broker, and it's vital. And it's a huge leg up. And meet everyone you can. It is so critical in this business to be personable, to be social, to make your clients, so to speak, your friends. I've said it before. Meet everyone. You never know where business is going to come from, and it's helped me in a big way.
That's a great answer. I mean, just a couple notes that I wrote down. You got to play the long game, because clearly this isn't you get into commercial real estate and the next year you're immediately successful, especially during the challenges we've seen, which will come to my next question. Have a thick skin, which I think with respect to all negotiation is important, be it with your wife over golf or be it commercially in industry. And then be personable and social. So meet everyone you can, which I certainly can vouch for you. You are definitely a social guy and quite personable. Ian, I got one last question for you. So a little bit different than career aspirations. This is a little more pointed. Is there a secret to surviving the recession that we may entertain within commercial real estate?
Well, other than the financial aspect of that, where I would say hopefully you've been stashing away some cash. This is a very transactional business. Commission based, you eat what you kill. Beyond that, I think of a recession, and we've actually talked about it a good amount. I think about it as, look, things will slow down, but this is an opportunity not to you can't look at it as surviving the recession. You're looking long term to coming out the other end in the best possible place you can be. So through these slow times, dull times, dark times of whatever is to come, your job, again, going back to relationships, your job is to stay in front of people. Your job is to be a resource in any way that you possibly can to your clients or the market in general, and just be visible. I mean, take this time to build faith in people, or people build faith in you and come out stronger than ever on the other end.
Cool. So two important things. The first one, stash away some cash, which I think is good advice across any industry. But the second thing you said was things will slow down, but relationships will remain, if I can paraphrase what you said.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. You know, you've talked a lot about that idea around you have to just meet everyone you can. You started the conversation and talked about, listen, don't be afraid to introduce yourself. You know, this is a business model that you need to be out there, and the relationships and the relations you have are important. And you talked about belief and trust, which I think are critical in any type of negotiation that you have. Listen, Ian, we're really pleased that you joined us. Thanks, man. I know you're crazy busy with your calendar and with your schedule. Also, I know we're coming up on the holiday, and even though this won't be delivered to mass audiences until after the new year, wishing your lovely wife, Margaret, and your beautiful daughter, Bea, a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mike. This was awesome, and love to your family as well.
Appreciate it.
We'll do it again soon.
Yeah, go Caps, huh?
Go Caps, baby.